Tom, will Gen Z turn out, you think, for the 2024 presidential election? History shows that, other voter generations tend to turn up in higher numbers than they do.
Right, and that's a challenge for the Democrats because young voters have been an important part of their coalition over the last few cycles. And if you go back and look, Joe Biden in 2020 won the younger voters by 24 points. Hillary Clinton in 2016 won younger voters by 19 points. Kamala Harris is right in that range. Couple recent polls have her at 19, 21, 23%. So she's right in that range where Democrats have been over the last couple cycles. Obviously, she would like to increase that. Gives her a better chance of winning, and particularly in these battleground states, a lot of which are going to be decided by 5 or 10,000 votes. They're really that close.
Yeah, Tom, specifically going through polling in RealClearPolitics, this one again from YouGov CBS News, again, 50% right here, neck and neck with Trump and Harris. And that's seemingly what each and every poll you've seen, albeit NBC News, et cetera. But if you go through RealClearPolitics, state averages, kind of a different way to look at this race and maybe a more signifier of where this could be going. What are you seeing in terms of the battleground states, Harris and Trump? Which one, in terms of averages, is coming out on top?
Well, I mean, there are 7 battleground states that we're tracking very closely that'll decide this election. And if you take the average lead of those 7 states, I think Trump's up 0.2%. It's basically been going back and forth between, 0.1% lead for Kamala Harris to 0.1% or 0.2% lead to Donald Trump. What we have seen, though, is that Trump is getting some separation from Harris in Arizona. He leads in every single poll that's been taken there. That's in our average, I think, 7 polls in a row. And in Georgia, he's got about over a 2-point lead in Georgia now. He's leading in every single poll that's been taken in Georgia. Kamala Harris has done the same thing in Michigan, for example. I just had another poll out this morning showing her up 3 points there. Her lead now is almost 2 points in Michigan. So she's getting some separation there. But the states where this is really, really close, North Carolina, Trump's got about a 0.5 percentage point lead there. And in Pennsylvania, where the president was yesterday, Kamala Harris has a lead there of less than 1 percentage point. And Pennsylvania really is the ballgame because the 19 electoral votes in Pennsylvania, if you lose that state, you can't make it up by winning any of these other battleground states. You'd have to win 2 states to replace those 19 electoral votes, which is why the campaigns are spending so much time there.
So Biden won Georgia back in 2020. You're just talking about Georgia, but he did only win by less than 0.5 percentage point. When we see these large influx of numbers of Gen Z voters heading to the polls, specifically in these battleground states, what sort of issues are they voting with? I know that abortion is a huge issue. Also, so is the economy. What do you think will ultimately win out in this election?
Yeah, I mean, the economy is the #1 issue by far across every single demographic when you talk about this election. And certainly for younger voters, the cost of rent and housing, cost of food, cost of education, these are all big concerns of theirs. Now, obviously, there are issues that skew among younger voters. Climate change, for example, is much more important among younger voters than older voters. Student loan debt, those sorts of things. But overall, it certainly is the economy that's driving this election from the top line, again, across every single demographic that we see.
And Tom, just final question for you. Obviously, watching this election season, it's much different. You had the incumbent drop out. He's the one that garnered 14 million votes in the primary and all but installed is Vice President Kamala Harris with 0 votes. Yet that is the candidate, again, the nominee, the Democratic nominee moving forward. She doesn't take many interviews, doesn't sit down with press a lot. You don't really see a lot of her messaging or her plan, or if she's asked about it, sitting down with someone like Oprah Winfrey. It's a lot of word salad and not really answering major questions. She's not really held accountable. But somehow the needle continues to move in polling. Why do you think that is?
Well, a couple reasons. I mean, Democrats obviously had a lot of concerns about Joe Biden and his mental fitness and his age and all of that. And that all went away when he dropped out of the race. And so they had been sort of, in the doldrums for a few weeks. And that sort of culminated with this surge of enthusiasm for Kamala Harris. Remember, she wasn't even really popular even among Democrats just a few weeks ago. So that was the sort of fundamental change in this race. And the other thing is Donald Trump. I mean, he is an absolute lightning rod of an individual. He is a turnout machine both for Republicans and for Democrats. And Democrats continue to try and, juice up their base by suggesting that if he's elected, that our democracy is going to end, et cetera, et cetera. And so those are the campaign tactics that are driving. I think we're going to have record turnout once again in this election. And it's because of I think Donald Trump being back on the ballot one more time.